What was the moment for you where you felt like this can work?
It's funny. I actually wrote about this to someone yesterday. They asked me, they literally said, what was the moment that you felt validated to make this a thing? And honestly, I think part of the drive with where I am is that I never really did. And some days I still don't. This is also where a mindset thing came in. I had my first test project that I did with my first ever client. They had told me, like, I aced the project. I doubled their open rate. I doubled their click-through rate, made a bunch of sales. They're like, this was great. Can you do it again? And I said, yes, here's my rate. He's like, no, I need to do another test to prove that this wasn't a fluke. And I said, you can pay me for it. Otherwise, no. And he says, well, I guess we'll never know. And that destroyed my confidence because I'm like, maybe it was a fluke. Maybe I wasn't really good. Even when I went on to work at IHG, I literally had a 100% success rate against every control I ever went on, meaning that my work converted better than the agencies or the previous versions. And I was called the best writer in the building. And I kept diminishing that. I was like, yeah, but there's only a couple of writers in the building. There were thousands of people in the building. And I kept diminishing it, and I kept wondering, am I really good? So building a business was about, I was never convinced that I was good. And there was a lot of insecurity that drove me because I wanted to prove to myself that I was good enough. This is where that being selfish came in. It wasn't until the mindset and the therapy stuff finally clicked in where someone said, what would it take for you to believe that you're good enough? And I sort of ran down the checklist, and he says, how many of those things have you done? And it was like 10 out of 10. I had done those things. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm good enough. I can let that go now. So as far as being confident that I can make this work, I wasn't confident until I realized that I already did.
I feel like you've had every reason in the book to just go get a job based on just the things that you're sharing with me. Why keep on keeping on, like, and not go back? Like, why is this so meaningful to you?
I'm in control of my own destiny. I have made so much more money on my own than I ever could have as an employee. I had my best year to date last year, which was more than double what I was making when I was working in-house. And every time I was in-house, every 3 years, I got laid off. And I felt good and I got comfortable, but I realized that I could be using my skills for myself rather than making someone else rich. I mean, I wrote $1 million campaigns. I brought in a lot of money for a lot of brands and for a lot of businesses. And I've done quite well. I'm not here to talk about the numbers or to flex on that stuff, but I just got bored. And I was like, you know what? I'm not writing the stuff I want to write. And I didn't want to be bored anymore. And I was like, this would be more exciting if I can make money for other people. The real test is, can I do it for myself? And when I finally proved that I can, I was like, you know what? This is pretty cool. And I don't work very hard most days. When I work hard, I work hard. But most days, it's kind of, there's a lot of thinking involved. There's emails, which I enjoy writing, seeing what resonates and things like that. But I'm not burning myself out on other people's deadlines. And it's just it's a better life now. It took a while to get here, but it's a better life now.
Yeah, totally. There's so much pressure, especially as an employee. I don't think it's intentional from employers, but they try to wring out their employees like a towel. It's like, how do we get more? Like, how do we push this? I don't think it comes from a bad place. I just think that's just conventional wisdom of anything and of most people in life. So it's interesting to hear you say that. You're like, that this idea of like slow productivity has been the unlock for you.
Yeah. You know, working in the corporate world and all that, it was great. And I had a lot of big wins, a lot of success, a lot of things that I really enjoyed. But I also realized that I was a cog in a machine where if I had to write an email, I had to write it 3 weeks in advance because the schedule was an email was slated for that day. It had to go through approval. It had to get loaded. It had the other people on the teams that had to get the imagery, that had to literally build it into the system, get it onto the calendar, get it scheduled, and get it out. Now I can wake up and write an email and send it 10 minutes later. And I enjoy the flexibility and the freedom that I have now, as opposed to hitting deadlines and putting out, just being a piece of something. Now I'm all of it. And it's a piece of me rather than me being a piece of it. And it just feels better. It's more aligned this way. I just enjoy it.